Hi, welcome to the Improved Garage YouTube channel. I've got another new tool here that I'm going to talk about, unbox on camera, review. Today, this came from eBay. It's a factory authorized outlet seller, but it's new. And I got like 30% off. So it was a significant enough discount to justify me not going to Obsessed Garage or not picking it up at Home Depot and having it immediately. I ordered this on Saturday. Today is Tuesday, and it showed up today via DHL. So this is the M12 stubby 3/8 impact. So the Milwaukee part number is 2554 for this tool. This is a -20, which means it has no batteries, no charger. Obviously they make like a 2.2 or a 2.4 or some other variant that includes batteries as well. So this is the 3/8 impact gun that is the stubby, meaning the short length. So we're gonna open it up here. It comes in a cardboard box, no plastic case, no bag. You know, it used to be nice that all the Milwaukee stuff would come in a plastic case, those impact molded cases, or it would come in a a cloth bag of some sort. But truthfully, when I got to the point that I had 10 tools, I also had 5 plastic cases and 5 or 6 bags, and they were just kind of up in my attic, and I never really used them for anything. So I think it's great that that stuff has kind of gone by the wayside, and I would like to think that maybe it's helping to keep the prices down. I mean, those things cost more money to manufacture and ship and store and all of that stuff. So inside the box, we have the owner's manual, and then we have the gun itself, and that's it. So the gun comes in a plastic bag, and it's kind of in a cardboard box that's got there's like a hole in the end of it for this to kind of tuck into, so it's pretty well protected. I don't have any marks or scuffs or anything on it. It is very clearly new. The box was factory sealed with the Milwaukee tape, just kind of like they are when you get them. So yeah, and I can't tell why this would be sold by a factory outlet. It looks perfect. So this is the impact itself. I'm gonna grab a battery, and I'm also gonna grab my 1/2-inch impact. All right, so let's compare against some kind of common tools that would be in this category. So this is the Milwaukee Hex impact. This is the fuel version, not the surge version, which would be hydraulic, but this is the fuel version, which should be very similar to this new one that I just picked up. This is the 1/4-inch Hex. This definitely has less power than that does by a significant amount. And this is designed to, obviously drive screws. I do really like this gun. It works very, very well. This is the 1/2-inch mid-torque, the 2962. And this thing is awesome. It's great for when you're taking apart suspension components, when you're installing struts, or when I was doing the rear sway bar and I had to remove the subframe from below the Mini. It's great for changing tires and wheels. If you need to take a tire or wheel off, it's got plenty of torque for that. This is like 400 foot-pounds of torque. And this thing works awesome. So where does this fit in, and why did I pick it up? Well, part of why I picked it up was to experience it and talk about it on the channel. But I think where this fits in, I think that this is just the general purpose tool. So this is great for when you're taking your tires off the car. But then once you've taken the tires off the car, you're removing sway bar end links, and you're removing strut mounts, and you're removing other components, brake calipers, or whatever project you're doing. And you don't really need a gun with 450 foot-pounds of torque. And while you can turn this down, there's settings 3, 2, 1. You can turn it down to like number 2, which is where I often run it, even when I'm doing tires. It is still huge. Like, look at the size comparison between the two of them. It's significantly larger than this 3/8. And then you take that and you put a 1/2-inch socket on it, which is going to tend to be larger. You end up with a really big tool. So I think this guy ends up being kind of the general purpose tool. This is the one that once you've taken the tires off, you set that down, and this is the one that you use for the general purpose work. Now, in the grand scheme of things, I think that you probably want to own this first. This is a nice to have tool. This is more of a need to have tool in my opinion. I think everybody should have a large impact gun, you know, so if they're taking off something like a crankshaft bolt or something like that, something really big that requires some torque to get it off, you know, it's just a really nice tool to have. But I think this is a great general purpose, and this fits in that middle range really well. I did opt for the 3/8. The 3/8 has a little bit more power than the 1/4 inch. And I already obviously have a 1/2 inch, but this allows me to use shorter sockets. It allows me to use chrome sockets because it's only 200 foot-pounds of torque, so those sockets should be able to handle that even if they're not impact rated. You can obviously get impact rated 3/8 sockets for this, and if you're going to be using it extensively, maybe you want those. I honestly like the chrome sockets because I think that they give me, they fit a little bit better because they've got thin walls. So let me grab an impact socket. So here we just have a 17 millimeter socket installed. It's got a lot of power to it. You know, it's rated at 200 foot-pounds of torque, 250 foot-pounds of nut busting torque. And it does like 110 when it's installing bolts or something along those lines. So this would be great for, you know, when you're taking valve cover off, when you're doing some work under the hood. The size is really nice. The power seems good. I know the battery system is fantastic, you know, because I've been using Milwaukee tools for so long. It's great to just be able to slam a new battery in here and keep working when your battery is dead. One thing that I'm interested in though is how much torque this thing actually has. So what I have here is my Mini Cooper, 2016 Mini Cooper, and these wheels I torque to 120 foot-pounds when I put them on. So let's see if we can break this loose. Okay, well there's your answer. The answer is no. So this is not a replacement for it's not a replacement for a larger impact gun, for a 1/2 inch impact gun, which is what I would normally use for this particular job. It just doesn't have the power that would be required to do something like remove lug bolts. All right, so let's wrap up this video. This thing is awesome. I'm telling you, it's the one to buy. So from a usefulness perspective, this is probably the most useful impact I've ever owned in my entire life. It's got a short stubby head on it. You take this and put a standard length 3/8 ratchet on here, it's actually shorter than the mid-torque 1/2 inch with no sockets on it at all. Or it's the same length, very close to the same length. It has about 100 foot-pounds of torque. So that means that, you know, for general maintenance, top of engine work, we recently just did a head gasket in the Civic. So the Civic had a graphite gasket. We swapped it out to a multi-part steel. There was a Honda recall, and we were hoping to deal with some oil leaking issues. It helped, didn't fix it. But just like removing valve cover bolts, removing, you know, even the head bolts. Once you crack them loose, I have an 18-inch 3/8 ratchet. So you just crack them loose, you use this, zip them right out. Long lengths, it's super fast, works really, really well. You know, and I have the 1/2 inch mid torque. It's an amazing gun, but it has 400 foot-pounds of torque. So the usefulness is limited. It's great for big suspension jobs. It's great for breaking tires loose or tightening tires and wheels onto a car. But other than that, you know, there's limited use for that. This thing you can use all the time, all the time. And I've even used this to install wheels. So, you know, you can have the car up on jacks, you install your wheels, it's 100 foot-pounds of torque. And then when you set the thing down, you just torque them with your torque wrench, super simple, and it works really, really well. This is definitely gonna make a bolt snug without an issue. So I did also pick up a 3/8 impact socket set. I'll talk about that in a separate video, but I think that's a really good complement to this tool. I think it's a nice, you know, it's definitely in my top 5. It's probably my top 3 Milwaukee tools to own. I've been using it with the CP 2.0 battery. I think that makes the gun nice and balanced, makes it super light. I'm not gonna be able to run this battery dead faster than I could charge it, So that's really all that I need in terms of capacity. I do really like the clip, so this does have a clip on it, and it's very balanced even with the clip, or hanging from the clip. So I find myself hanging this in my pocket all the time because it's nice and light, and it's just super easy to carry around. I did get one of these rubber boots from Obsessed Garage to kind of protect it and keep it nice and clean. I'm going to put some links in the description. If you do decide you want one of these, I'll have a link to Obsessed Garage and I'll have one to Tool Nut. If you click my links and buy them from the vendors, it gives me a small kickback. It doesn't cost you any extra, but it does help me out. So thank you, and hopefully you'll have a great day.